Hello, welcome back to Off the Menu with me, Minnie Jacob. This is where we go beyond the plate to explore the grit, grace, and game-changing ideas shaping the F&B industry. Today's guest brings a rich blend of culinary artistry, entrepreneurial grit, and cultural storytelling to the table. Meet Chef Khalid Al-Baghir, the visionary behind Kuwait's Ventry Group. Welcome to the show, Khalid.
Thank you, Minnie, for having me. Good morning. Hope you're well.
Well, thank you. So let's dive right in with
Sounds
your
good.
work, that often blends Kuwaiti culinary heritage with global influences. How do you decide which traditions to preserve and which to reinvent?
I like some things you have to stick to the classics, and the classics are classics, so you keep them as they are. But at the same time, you use them for inspiration to try those flavors in new formats and new global formats. You know what I mean? And if
Right.
it wasn't for people exploring or trying these things, you wouldn't have this medley of cuisine all around the world. Like in Mexico, one of the most famous tacos is the tacos árabes, which is, the Lebanese. They went to Mexico, they started making shawarma, and then you have now these huge taco stands that are originally Lebanese.
Right.
So if you kept it the way it is, you'd never have these blends of filters and food. So yeah, some dishes are traditional and we eat them as is. But you can take those flavors and try them in new formats.
So do you go with a lot of what the customers' feedback comes?
Absolutely.
What to say?
I mean,
Okay.
it's a mix of customer feedback, mix of inspirations I have, from travel, from reading, from watching, and you combine all these things to try and find something nice that works.
Right.
At the end of the day, it has to taste good. Yeah.
Of course, absolutely. How do you like Kuwaiti cuisine is evolving and it's getting onto the global stage. And how do you see it growing onto the global stage? And what role do you want to play in that narrative?
I would love to see it grow more and more, internationally. From the Arab cuisines that took off internationally, you can say it was predominantly Lebanese that was able to, everywhere in the world you'll find a Lebanese shop, you'll find a Turkish or a Greek, but you never went more into Saudi cuisine, Kuwaiti cuisine, Egyptian cuisine. And each one of these on their own has a Palestinian cuisine. There's so much to these fictions and to these cultures that I would love to see them spread. As far as Kuwaiti cuisine, I think with time, the more and more the country opens up and the more and more people travel, they will start to take the cuisine with them. Yeah. So, for example, in the expo now in Japan, in Osaka.
Right.
So I flew with the Kuwait, and I was elected by the Kuwaiti government to go and represent Kuwait in Osaka, and I was the chef for the restaurant there. So I technically opened a Kuwaiti restaurant in Japan.
Wow.
And in Osaka, we are the busiest restaurant out of all the pavilions. We do over 900 customers a day, and they are 95% Japanese.
That is
So
commendable.
for me to go and have everybody try much boosh, when I went there and they had no idea what the cuisine was, what they're doing. Even the cooks, when I went, I had a team of like 6 or 7 Japanese cooks and cooks from all over the world. They never heard or even knew what Kuwait was, let alone the cuisine. Oh,
Right.
I have my head chef is Italian. I have a German and a guy from El Salvador and 4 Japanese guys cooking Kuwaiti food, and they've become experts on Kuwaiti food.
Wow. So did you have to kind of change the flavors a little to blend with the local
Absolutely not.
cuisine?
I kept it traditional. I kept it as traditional as I could because I wanted them to try it like how it tastes at home,
Of course, yeah, the original stuff,
Exactly.
right? And that's great. The chef, you are known as the collaboration guy. I know you're much into collaborations, and you've collaborated with young chefs and brands to spotlight local talent. What makes a collaboration meaningful to you?
First of all, it has to be the right partner, who I'm collaborating with, what they bring to the table, what they want to grow, and how, like, what's the message? What are we doing? What's the point of this collaboration? What are we trying to grow here together? Is it a brand? Is it a specific product? But in general, I think the best way or the only way for an industry to grow is by collaborating together. If everybody was to go on his own path and do his own thing, we'll never get anywhere because it's sharing of information. Yeah. So if I know, for example, the best supplier of, let's say, shellfish, and then people are looking for the same supplier, they don't know where to buy it from. I'm not greedy. I don't want, oh, you can only buy it from me or it's only served in my restaurant. Then it won't be popular. For example, kimchi. I love kimchi. If I served kimchi in my restaurant and everybody came and they tried it, they're like, what is this? Never had this before. They won't try it. But all of a sudden, if 10 restaurants in Kuwait are serving kimchi and it's popular, my dish will become more popular and will have more demand. You know what I mean? It's sharing of information grows the sector and working
R-
together. And it's even marketing wise, if I have an event and I invite all these chefs and I have all these food bloggers and friends come and, join on the event, they're going to spread word for me. I'm going to spread word for them. We're going to break out there's a new restaurant in town. Or did you try the new burger at this restaurant?
Right.
And it's also helping people grow, like you said, with young chefs. For example, I have young chefs that are new on the scene. They haven't made a name. They want to make a name for themselves. And they want to grow and, become more popular, help find new opportunities maybe. So you collaborate with them. You have a dinner. Let's
Right.
come and you showcase. I have a new dinner menu by, let's say, Chef Bedr, and he's new on the scene, and I can expose him to many people in this industry.
Right.
So it's the
Right.
message, it's collaborating, it's high showcasing products. Like where I was, I proudly say I serve 48 East coffee. I don't say it's my coffee; they're not my beans. I want to highlight and showcase a local brand. If I was a bakery and I bought bread from, let's say, this bake from Madison and Hague, I would proudly say my bread is from here, my coffee's from here, and we create a community so that everybody
Right.
knows you want the best bread, you go here. You want the best coffee, you go here. I can't do it all. I'm not the best at everything.
That's a great perspective to have because I think not everybody feels that way, but it's good
No.
to have that collaborative outlook. But when you do these kind of collaborations, when working with other chefs or brands, how do you balance that creative control with co-creation when you're co-creating something? How do you balance that creative control?
It depends who's leading the product, yeah, and who has the nature of the idea. Where's the idea born? So, for example, if I want to launch, I have in my restaurant now. I started inviting chefs from overseas to do collaboration dinners. Okay, I can lead with my food and be like, but that's not the point. I'm inviting you from Hong Kong or from Dubai or from Singapore. I want to showcase you and your food, and at the same time, I'll have a reason to bring in new class or returning guests. I'll be like, Chef Minnie is coming from Dubai and she's going to cook a dinner with us over here. Okay, who is she? Let's try her food. So I don't want to come and be like, we're going to cook my food and Minnie is the guest and she's helping me cook. No, it's a collaboration. You understand?
Right.
So
Right.
depending on who's leading or who's inviting, sometimes I get invited to, let's say, Elevation Burger, and they called me and they're like, can you create something for us? So I led the creative part, but it has to be in line with their standards and their, let's say objectives.
The framework that they have for their brand.
Exactly.
Right? So moving on to your career and what you've been, all the years of experience that you have. So what's a risk that you took that most people advised against, but it turned out to be a game changer?
I mean, my whole career was a game change. My background is accounting and finance. I was working in
Oh,
the oil
wow.
sector. I was an auditor.
Okay.
I was an auditor for Deloitte, and I was working in the oil sector for around 7 years before I quit and became a chef. So
Okay.
trust me, at the time, a lot of people thought this home jump was a mistake and risky, and had a very good job with a very good income. So a lot of people thought I was crazy. I don't even gonna go become a chef. And at the time, there was only, let's say, 6 or 7 Kuwaiti chefs working in this industry. So it wasn't a thing. Today, I know over 100.
Right. Right. So that must have been a huge jump and a complete career shift in all sense of the word,
Absolutely. But it was
right?
great. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I was now.
I know. Sometimes one needs to take those steps
Exactly.
when you feel the thing in your gut saying that, okay, just do it. You got to do it.
Exactly.
When it comes
But
to yeah, go on, please.
go ahead.
I was asking when it comes to competition, do you see that as a motivator or as a distraction in the culinary world?
No, I think competition is very important, but not in a negative sense. I think it will only grow the sector. It's like some people have like if I was to open a restaurant on an empty street, there's no competition around, yeah. But then there's no people around. I would like to open between the 4 best restaurants in town, the best,
All
because
right.
then this street will become the most popular street in Kuwait, and it'll be the
All right.
place to be. So I don't want to be because I don't want to be amongst bad restaurants or in a bad neighborhood. I want to be amongst the best. The best, we're
Right.
all in the street, and if you want to go, and then we it becomes helpful competition. So, for example, one day if I'm full, the spillover, he'll go to mine, he'll try mine, and he'll see the whole street is it's the place to be.
Right.
You know, so I don't believe competition is bad. I want to be in the middle of competition so that I can attract the best.
And
You
it's
know,
all healthy, right? I mean, it's got
exactly.
to.
And at the end of the day, I mean, I will continue to grow and to produce and to create. That if anybody wants to imitate, by all means, go ahead. I'll give you my recipe because in 6 months from now, I'm going to change. I'm going to grow. I'm going to adapt. So you can either grow on your own or you can continue to chase me, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And I totally feel that, when you have a concept, anybody trying to copy that will never be able to copy it exactly because the
exactly.
soul is yours, it's it's
And
it's
it's not
you
just
who
the dish,
building
it's the
it.
whole experience.
Absolutely,
And it's
absolutely.
different when if my restaurant, my service, my staff, me, the whole atmosphere of the place, the experience starts from the car, getting down to the car, to the valet, to the entering the restaurant, to being greeted. It's not just I went and I tried their Caesar salad or his Caesar salad. No, it's the whole experience.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Talking about trends of the industry, is there any trend that you think that the industry is blindly following right now and which is actually not very good?
Well, I wouldn't talk down necessarily on any trend per se, but I think trends are important. They're important because it gives people excitement and brings people in the door. And if you go to Japan, when I was in Japan, I would see two cafes serving the exact same thing. But this line had a line of 300 people, and this guy had nobody. It was completely empty. And I was just saying, what? Because he's trendy. He's on TikTok. He's marketing something. He's doing something. So support it to remain trendy because this is key of marketing.
Especially
If
with
I'm not
today's customers, right? For
exactly,
young Gen
exactly.
Z.
So I need to promote something new. If somebody came and did a cheeseburger, Philly cheesesteak that with the French dip, now the French dip is trending. I mean, that's a great item. So and it's trending in Philadelphia and in New York and in the US. So why don't I do it here in Kuwait? I mean, it's trending worldwide. You want to start the trend before anybody else comes and does it, and then you see everybody will follow. Everybody will start to do this. Before there was one guy that had a smash burger in Kuwait. Now every restaurant has a smash burger, and it's trendy to do the other way, a regular steakhouse
The
burger.
regular.
People are going back to the regular burgers. So
Yeah,
trends are important just for excitement, marketing, campaigns. It can be a one-off. I might not necessarily make money off this trend, but it gives me something to talk about. If I have nothing to talk about, it's all top of mind marketing, right? So I want to
right.
stay relevant. Oh, did you try the new burger here? Did you try the new sandwich here? I want to remain trendy.
Fair enough. You've been running a restaurant for a while, and what do you think is any one uncomfortable truth or fact about running a restaurant that no one talks about?
Mm,
The biggest.
it's a very tough industry and really, really, really drains you. And everybody thinks it's all glamour and fun. Oh, he has a restaurant. Oh, they don't know I mean, financially, not as rewarding as everybody thinks. It's actually very difficult. It's a very difficult time now. There's a lot of hidden costs nobody knows about. So financially, it's not a rewarding business. It's very difficult. This is one thing people think, they don't seem to understand. Everybody thinks, oh, let's open a restaurant. It's a good business venture. It's not. And dealing with staff is very difficult. You have a lot of problems, a lot of staff, a lot of people start complaining. I want this, I want that, I want this. And then dealing with customers is even more difficult. Customers always right. So whether you're right or wrong, you're wrong. So you have to deal with a lot of egos. You have to deal with a lot of people who, it's not a pleasant industry, but at the same time, it's very rewarding.
Very
It's rewarding,
satisfying.
satisfying, self-satisfying. I love what
Yeah.
I do. I love feeding people. I love seeing the look on their face when they eat, when they leave my restaurant happy. The amount of people that message and say, I had a wonderful anniversary. I had a wonderful birthday. Thank you for making this memorable. Like you celebrate your anniversary once a year, yeah? And if you choose to celebrate it in my restaurant, that's a memory I created for you that you won't forget. I
Yeah.
remember last year when we went here, I had people that have celebrated 10 years. I had people celebrate their graduation. You graduate one time, celebrate it in my restaurant. That's a big deal. That's a big memory. So if you
Right.
leave angry, you're not going to forget. But if you leave happy, you're never going to forget that day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's if you were to give one last question here, if you had to give one piece of advice to restaurateurs who are trying to build something lasting and not just trendy? Because, like you rightly said, everybody thinks that let's start a restaurant, but at the same time, there are so many that close down so quickly because it's not, I mean, they've not done a sustainable model or something like that. So, what would that piece of advice be?
And first of all, the most important thing is understanding the P&L, the financials. You have to do a proper study, financial study. It's not just, oh, I have an idea, let's go and open. Okay, but what's your cost? What's your selling price? What's your the financials are the most important part.
Right.
Once you have that down, the food is the least important part.
Really?
The food is the least important part.
Really? I asked.
It's the easiest part. You
Okay.
know, it starts with the name. Do you have the right name? Do you have the right branding? Do you have the right logo? What does it mean? What does it, how am I going to attract people? Marketing. What's my marketing plan? I mean, like, I can have the best burger in the world. It's easy. I can make a very good cheeseburger. But if nobody knows about it, nobody can find it. If I can deliver, I only can deliver to a small radius. So it's not just let's have a good restaurant open. Every single aspect is important, from the name to the branding to the financials to the interior design, the service. All of these things come into play before you eat,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So if I'm in a bad location, you might turn around and go home. If there's no parking, you might turn around and go home. Place is dirty, you might leave and not sit down. If the host doesn't greet you properly or seat you properly, you might turn around and leave angry. This is
Yeah,
all before you eat.
yeah, absolutely. So the food is actually the last.
The easy part. But once you have everything in order, if the food is not good, I'm not coming back.
That's true. That's true. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Chef, for
You are
all
most
those
welcome.
insights. I think it was brilliant. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you
Um,
for
eh,
having me. It was a pleasure.
and for the viewers, if you are a restaurateur or operator, just someone who believes food is a language of legacy, I hope this episode sparked a shift in how you think about your own journey. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and let us know what's one mindset shift you're taking back to your team today. Until next time, then, see you.
Bye bye.